Hi friends, welcome to English Study Point. Today in this video lecture, I am starting with Chaucer's The Nun's Priest's Tale Part 1. Geoffrey Chaucer's Nun's Priest's Tale, which is considered as a part of the Canterbury Tale, is a comedic fable. So the tale is classified as a fable because it features animals that embody human traits, allowing for a satirical critique of human behavior. The comedic aspect suggests that the story will use humor to convey its messages that centers on a clever rooster named Chanticleer and his interactions with a cunning fox. So, Chanticleer is a proud and confident rooster, embodying traits of intelligence and charm. His name derived from the French word forcing, which means forcing, which highlights his vocal prowess and self assuredness. Interaction with a cunning fox means the introduction of the fox, who represents cunning and deceitfulness, sets the stage for conflict. And the interplay between these characters shows the theme of wit versus instinct. And it is set in vibrant pastoral world. The tale explores themes of pride, the nature of dreams, and the folly of overconfidence. So here we see that the introduction means the setting is idealized and pastoral, showcasing a harmonious rural lifestyle that contrasts with the more complex behaviors of the animal characters. This idyllic backdrop emphasizes the simplicity and joys of nature, and the tale's exploration of pride highlights Chanticleer's overconfidence, leading to his near downfall. The reference to dreams suggests that sins of pride can lead to misguided interpretations and consequences as dreams hold deeper meanings. And then we see through the antics of its animal characters, particularly Chanticleer's near encounter with death and the lesson learned from his hubris. So here we see that serves as a cautionary tale against excessive pride and self-worth. Chanticleer's arrogance leads him to disregard warnings, showing his overconfidence can result in peril. And using animal characters allows Chaucer to present human traits in a more accessible manner. So this technique enables readers to reflect on themselves through the behaviors of the animals, blurring the line between human and animal. And then we see that Chaucer critiques human behavior and societal norms while employing rich allegory and playful storytelling. The tale serves both as entertainment and a moral lesson, showing the timeless struggle between wits and instincts. So here we see that this moment of crisis is crucial in the story as Chanticleer is nearly captured by the fox, representing how hubris can lead to dire consequences. It's a pivotal point that emphasizes the dangers of ignoring one's instincts, and the fable ultimately teaches that pride can blind individuals to danger. Chanticleer's experience serves as an important moral lesson on humility, awareness, and awareness of one's surroundings. And through this tale, Chaucer not only entertains but also serves as a social critique. Chaucer uses the animal behavior to reflect human characteristics and flaws, indirectly commenting on society and its values. The use of allegory allows for deeper meanings behind the characters' actions, while Chaucer's playful narrative style keeps readers engaged and enhances the comedic elements. So this dual purpose of entertainment as well as teaching moral lesson underlines its effectiveness as both a fable and entertainment source, which was a common goal in medieval literature. So the moral lesson serves to instill wisdom in the audience, and the conflict between the cleverness of Chanticleer and the deceptive nature of the fox shows a universal theme. This struggle reflects broader human experiences, showing the need for balance between intellect and intuition. Now here we see one long ago there dwelt a poor old widow. So the phrase establishes an old-fashioned narrative style and sets a fairy tale tone, creating familiarity. The mention of poor immediately evokes sympathy and foreshadows the widow's struggles in a small cottage by a little meadow. So the cottage symbolizes simplicity and modesty. The location near a meadow suggests a rural setting, which aligns with themes of nature, poverty, and a humble lifestyle. Beside a grove and standing in a dale, So the imagery of the grove and dale enhances the idyllic yet isolated setting. It emphasizes the widow's connection to nature while also highlighting her solitude and lack of wealth. So, this widow woman of whom I tell my tale. The narrator addresses the audience directly, creating a conversational tone. It reinforces the storytelling aspect and draws readers into the widow's story, making them invested in her plight. Since the sad day when last she was a wife. So, this line introduces the widow's loss, implying that her life changed drastically with her husband's death. The word sad evokes sympathy and sets the emotional backdrop for her ongoing struggles, had led a very patient, simple life. The emphasis on patience suggests resilience and fortitude in the face of adversity. The characterization of her life as simple reflects themes of virtue found in humility and contentment despite hardship. Little she had in capital or rent. So, the mention of capital and rent underscores the widow's financial struggles. It highlights her poverty and lack of resources, reinforcing a theme of survival through difficult circumstances, but still by making do with what God sent. So the phrase suggests a sense of acceptance and faith in divine providence. Her ability to make do reflects her resourcefulness and optimistic outlook despite her dire situation. She kept herself and her two daughters going. So, this line emphasizes the widow's sense of responsibility towards her daughters. It reveals her devotion as a mother and highlights her struggle to provide for her family and financial instability. Three hefty souls no more were all her showing. So, the phrase shows her modest means. The word hefty suggests that they are well fed, indicating that the widow manages her meager resources wisely despite having so little. Three cows as well. There was a ship called Molly. The livestock serve as symbols of the widow's subsistence. Naming the ship Molly adds a personal touch, hinting at the affection that can exist even in poverty and reinforces the family aspect of her existence. Then here, Sooty, her hall, her kitchen, melancholy. So the line suggests a dark and uninviting atmosphere within her home. Sooty means neglect or lack of cleanliness, while melancholy indicates a pervasive sadness, reflecting her emotional state and the grim reality of her life. And there she ate full many a slender meal. So the expression slender meal emphasizes poverty and scarcity. It shows that her meals are insufficient and likely lacking in variety and nutrition, underscoring her struggle to provide for herself and her daughters. There was no sauce piquante to spice her meal. So the absence of flavorful sauces highlights her limited resources and culinary bleakness. It contrasts with expectations for a satisfying meal, contributing to the depiction of her meager existence. No dainty morsel ever passed her throat. So this line reinforces the idea that she rarely, if ever, gets to indulge in special or luxurious food. It enhances the picture of her daily sustenance, marked by deprivation and monotony. According to her cloth, she cut her coat. So this proverb suggests that she lives within her means, adapting her lifestyle to her financial reality. It speaks to her pragmatism and acceptance of her circumstances, valuing practically over desire. Repletion never left her in disquiet. So, repletion refers to the state of being full. So, here we see that she does not experience restlessness from overindulgence. Rather, it's indicative of her simple, modest lifestyle that avoids excess, and all her physique was a temperate diet. So, the term physique refers to medicine or health. This line means that her diet is her primary means of maintaining health. The emphasis on moderation denotes her awareness of how to live healthily within her constraints. Hard work for exercise and heart's content. So here we see her industrious nature. Hard work brings her not only physical exercise but also satisfaction. It suggests that she finds joy and purpose in her labor despite the hardship she faces. And rich men's gout did nothing to prevent. Gout is a condition associated with affluence due to a rich diet. So this line reveals that the widow's simple lifestyle protects her from such ailments, suggesting a contrast between her humble existence and the excess of the wealth. The sentence excessive of the wealthy. Her dancing apoplexy struck her not. So this implies that she remains physically active and healthy despite her poor diet. Apoplexy is a kind of stroke, represents serious health issues affecting the wealthy, thus emphasizing her relative fitness in her simplicity. She drank no wine, nor white, nor red had got. So the absence of alcohol highlights her aesthetic life, and it emphasizes her restraint and the idea that she leads a life devoid of indulgences typically enjoyed by others, reinforcing her humble nature. So her board was mostly served with white and black. White and black likely refers to common staples, white bread or possibly dairy, and something dark such as brown bread or porridge. This suggests a blend but filling diet reflects her circumstances. And here we see milk and brown bread in which she found no lack. So here that her meals are simple, they are sufficient. It indicates the subsistence nature of her diet, providing basic nutrition without luxury or variety. Broiled bacon or an egg or two were common. So her humble but we see that her humble but practical meals, bacon and eggs, enhanced the sense of hardiness, giving an impression of comfort food within her limits. She was, in fact, a sort of dairy woman. So, we see her role in the household, suggesting that she primarily produced dairy products. It portrays her not just as someone surviving on meager meals, but as an industrious worker contributing to her family's sustenance. Now, here we come to the main story. She had a yard that was enclosed about. So, the line establishes the setting and introduces a female character. The word enclosed suggests safety, privacy, or protection within the yards, implying a controlled sort of environment, by a stockade and a dry ditch without. So, the term stockade refers to a wooden fence or barrier, emphasizing the idea of security. The dry ditch could symbolize a boundary or another form of defense. It suggests neglect or abandonment since it is dry, lacking water, in which she kept a cock called Chanticleer. So this name Chanticleer is a name that means singer in French, which gives personification to the rooster. So the use of cock here reinforces traditional roles, as roosters are associated with dawn and awakening. In all the land for crowning he had no peer. This elevates Chanticleer's status, suggesting he is unrivaled in his abilities. The word peer implies that there is no one comparable, highlighting his exceptional crowing talent. His voice was jollier than the organ blowing, so the comparison between Chanticleer's voice and the sound of an organ suggests a joyful and uplifting quality to his crown. This elevates the rooster from a mere animal to a figure of delight. In church on Sundays, he was great at crowing. So we see that idea of Chanticleer's crowing being a significant event akin to church music. The mention of Sunday links it to tradition and reverence, enhancing the rooster's stature far more regular than any clock. So the poem emphasizes reliability, with Chanticleer crowing consistently surpassing even mechanical timekeepers, and this line underscores the theme of natural order versus human-made structures, or Abbey Bell, the crowing of this cock. So we see that this one compares Chanticleer's crow to an abbey bell, which serves as a social and religious marker. The repeated emphasis on his regularity and significance highlights his role as a natural alarm and a part of the daily cycle. So this particular passage presents Chanticleer as a vital and esteemed figure within a seemingly idyllic setting. There is use of vivid sort of imagery which creates a sense of joy and reverence surrounding this character, suggesting themes of nature, order, and the rhythm of life. It reflects a pastoral ideal where animals and humans coexist harmoniously. The language evokes a sense of nostalgia and attachment to the cycle of life, with Chanticleer as a central figure, symbolizing dawn, renewal, and the passage of time. Then with this video lecture ends here. Hope this video lecture will help you in your exams. Thank you.